How you doing? The single move you're probably doing in the gym that's killing your gains? Deadlifts. Now, hear me out before you grab your pitchforks and torches. So, deadlifts, yes, they are an exercise that a lot of people love, and they do work pretty much everything. However, if you are not a power lifter, then really training deadlifts is kind of going against what you're really trying to do. And what you're really trying to do is work hard, but not create an excessive amount of fatigue. And deadlifts, they have the highest stimulus to fatigue ratio of any movement in the gym. It just, it's very, very potent to what it does. And we actually don't really need to do deadlifts. There are so many other moves that we can do in the gym to build exquisite strength. Now, if you are a power lifter and your competition is deadlifting, then you probably want to spend some time deadlifting, regular deadlifting, sumo deadlifting. I, I get it. That's your sport. But as endurance athletes, that's not our sport. Our sport is pretty much limited range of motion while executing the most amount of power we possibly can. So there's other things that you can do. For example, if you do a leg press is fantastic and you're not taxing the body anywhere near to the same extent that you're taxing the body as you are with a deadlift. One of the biggest reasons for that is there's no loading through the CNS, the central nervous system, in the same way as, say, a leg press does. One of the primary reasons why the CNS gets loaded as much as it does with a deadlift is with grip. Because executing a deadlift properly, we need to have a strong grip. Even if you're using wraps, grip is pretty important still. So I would highly recommend switching out your deadlifts for leg presses, front squats. Front squats, fantastic. Step downs. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of videos that talk about some of the best ways to approach training legs as an endurance athlete, because everything that I'm hearing is just counter to what I have seen to actually work year round for 21 years now with my athletes, and my athletes are strong. I have multi-sport, single sport. It's the way that we train is a little bit behind. It's kind of in the 70s, and my goal is to pull us out of the 70s and 80s and get us moving in the correct direction. So that's it for today. I want to try to keep these videos short and sweet. So look, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'm sure some of you are going to rail against me and say that you've been doing deadlifts and deadlifts are great. But just understand it's producing a huge amount of fatigue. And if you're actually lifting a load to get the stimulus you want, the fatigue, it can almost be difficult to actually do the other movements in the gym that you should actually be getting a maximal load from. And if you're going to do a maximal load deadlift, that should be the first exercise you do. If you don't do it as the first exercise, the chance of injury goes up when we're looking at maximal loads. If you're not going to do a maximal load deadlift, then go to the RDL, the Romanian deadlift, or the stiff leg deadlift. Go to that instead. You can still get a huge impact of stimulus while mitigating fatigue. So please feel free to tell me how I don't know what I'm talking about. And I just hope that you give it a try. Give it a try. Pull deadlifts out of your workout routine for at least 6 weeks. And if you don't feel that your strength is improving, come back to this video, let me know, and I would love to hear from you. But I'm willing to place a wager. You pull deadlifts out of your routine 6 weeks, you're going to be feeling better. You're going to have way more energy. And just on a side note, so I hadn't done a deadlift probably in about a year, but I was doing all of the other big movements, big strong movements, doing bent rows for reps at 188 pounds, good morning, stiff leg deadlifts, step downs, goblet squats, front foot elevated lunges. I mean, just hitting the mark, Cossacks, with just getting these movements down and strong. When I was cleaning up around the gym, somebody left a bar out, had 300 pounds on it. And I know that 300 pounds in the world of deadlifting, it's not insane, right? But for somebody who hadn't done a deadlift, I hadn't done any warm-ups to deadlifts, saw the bar and I thought, why not? I walked up to the bar, pulled it off the ground like it was no issue, and bumped out a couple reps and dropped the bar down. Felt great. I easily could have repped it out. Easily could have thrown way more weight on the bar. But honestly, at that point, I didn't really see the need to do that, because everything else that I'm doing in the gym actually is preparing the body to do maximum effort lifts like that without taking on an insane amount of fatigue. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.